Yeah, I recently got a job in Lisk blockchain, 3 interview stage. The first one is just like before going to the EatTheBlocks Bootcamp, I only know the basics, but Lisk gas fee is like 12 times cheaper than base.
Today we're going to interview Jason, who is one of my ex-students from the EatTheBlocks Bootcamp who find a job as a blockchain developer. Jason is going to tell us about his experience, how he found his job, and what he's doing in a typical day. So welcome, Jason.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my pleasure. So Jason, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jason from Indonesia, and yeah, I recently got a job in Lisk blockchain as a DevRel ambassador. And yeah, I think I've been in crypto or blockchain since I've known blockchain since maybe 2017 or 2018. And I was a Julian student in Eat the Blocks Bootcamp.
And so Jason, first, congrats for your job. It's awesome. And what was your background before becoming a blockchain developer?
Yeah, if we want to trace back, so I actually graduated in from Swiss German University for my bachelor's degree. I took information technology before. Then I also took entrepreneurship for my master's degree in University of Nottingham. But afterwards, I didn't jump straight to the IT industry. So although I already had 2 internship experience in Germany and also in Indonesia. But after graduating my master's degree, I joined my family business for 2 years before I jumped in back to the IT industry.
Were you a programmer before doing blockchain?
Yes, so after doing my family business for 2 years, I went back as a programmer, starting as backend engineer and also front-end engineer. So yeah, I basically do learn all of it from the beginning and before I find my first remote job, which is I think the current company name is called Sakura Labs. I'm not sure if you are aware of it. Yeah, so it's a blockchain company based in Singapore, but I think they have employees from 19 different countries.
Okay, so before you became a blockchain dev, you were already a, can we say, web developer?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
say so.
okay, for what, like 2, 3 years?
I think for like yeah, you can say maybe like 2 years.
Okay, so with just 2 years of experience, and it was enough to find your first blockchain job, remote, right?
Yes, remotely.
Okay, so you work for this company who was, what were they doing in blockchain?
Uh, they actually have their own blockchain. Back then, they also have a Web3 wallet application, and they were creating a metaverse back then.
Were you able to reuse a lot of the skills you had before, or was it completely different?
Of course, well, at first I'm assigned to the metaverse tasks, so creating R&D, metaverse, this kind of stuffs. There's a lot of like learning new not language per se, but new technology. So we use Unreal Engine, Unity, and after doing the metaverse stuffs, I also in I think the Web3 wallet. I'm a backend engineer for the Web3 wallet application.
Yeah, so what kind of technology were you using?
Back then, we are actually using Java with a custom framework built by our VP of engineering.
The joy of Java. How lucky you are.
Java.
And okay, so backend Java, but with integration to blockchain.
Yes.
And how difficult was it to find this first job?
Um, it's I can't say it's difficult because actually my friend referred me to that company. And yeah, it was kind of strange because it was my first job, first remote job, and I'm not used to like alongside people from all around the world. And being in crypto is like the speed is very fast, but it's really an interesting journey.
Okay, so your friend referred you, and did you have any sort of technical interview?
Um, back then, back then, I think it's just a regular interview. Yeah, because previously I've already joined like courses, boot camps, online courses.
Okay, and including the Eat the Blocks Bootcamp, right?
Yeah, actually after I resigned from like the Sakura Labs, the remote company, I actually joined EatTheBlocks to upskill myself.
Okay, and why did you want to join the bootcamp?
Well, first of all, I think you already made videos from, I don't know, 2016 or 2017, if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken,
mm.
about blockchain development. And I think having people learning with you and also having you as a mentor will speed up the process of learning, um, rather than like me maybe going through YouTube videos one by one and not knowing the overall like
Yeah,
ecosystem of the blockchain.
but you already knew a few things because you already did like some project with integration with the blockchain, but did you want to dive into something even more specific in the blockchain?
Yes, so back then I already know Solidity, but I only know the basic one.
Mm.
So before going to the Eat the Blocks bootcamp, I only know the basics, but in the Eat the Blocks, I learn lots of different, like more advanced stuffs from you.
Okay, and how was your experience overall with the bootcamp?
And it was actually fun because there are people from lots of different countries. I remember there's a US guy, a Swiss guy. I think someone is also from the UK, and I think the closest from Indonesia is so there's one guy from Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, that one Swiss guy, Pyramid, if you still remember, we actually created a Web3 project after graduating from the bootcamp.
Okay, so that's great. So yeah, you made some friend in the boot camp and then you created your own project.
True.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so after the boot camp, what was the change for you compared to the beginning?
Obviously, hard skills,
Mm.
and I also get lots of not only hard skills, but I know the how you say it, the like overall maybe the salary, the industry outlook, maybe like the technologies and which technology is being used and be what will it be look like in the near future. Yeah, I think I got a lot from that bootcamp.
And so after the boot camp, so yeah, you continue with you build a project with one of the students, and then you find this job at Lisk. So can you tell us like how did you find this job at Lisk?
Actually, not directly. So after I created a project, so this is actually meant to be submitted for the Chainlink Hackathon. Afterwards, because I'm passionate in teaching actually, so I actually teach lots of people. So I'm actually invited in universities in Indonesia to teach blockchain there. And I also did like teach online to people, and actually Liz blockchain spotted me like, oh, I'm actually doing this teaching stuffs. That's why, especially for Indonesian market, that's why they actually is interested in working with me because they have a plan to expand in high growth market like Africa and also in Indonesia.
Okay, well, it's amazing. So you didn't have to apply to for this job. They came to you. Um, and so how was the interview process?
Yeah, so at first, actually, I'm actually referred by a guy from the Web3 community in Indonesia. So I did apply, I gave my resume and so on. And there's actually I think three interview stage. The first one is just like getting to know each other. I think they gave me a task. And then afterwards, I did the task and I
Do you
had
mean
the
some,
second interview.
did the task? Do you mean some technical thing?
I didn't do any technical thing. I think because I actually already teach to my students, that's why they actually didn't ask me any technical things again anymore. So the task is actually more like what's my plan to grow the ecosystem in Indonesia? How do you envision, or what's your programs and what's your analysis of the Lisk blockchain currently? And what's your plan after being accepted as DevRel ambassador in Lisk?
It's really amazing. It seems to me that you are not especially applying to jobs, just volunteering to do some education. Just this opportunity came to you, right?
Yeah, you can say so.
Okay, wow, it's pretty amazing. Congrats. And usually when you have this kind of opportunity that you get like passively that comes to you, the interview process is just massively more simple because like you've been like shortlisted already, so you have way more chance to get the job. So okay, so just a couple of interview, not really like a technical interview, and you got the job. And so your job is a job that very few people know. The kind of position is a developer relations. So
Yes.
can you explain what it is exactly?
Yeah, so DevRel or developer relations, I think it's quite a new job. And basically, you need to have a technical understanding of blockchains or whatever the company product is. And you also need to have a skill in business development, the relation with other developers, maybe a relation with their clients, or maybe enterprise or institutions that want to use the blockchain technology. Yeah, basically you need to have both, and you combine it, and there you have it, like DevRel. But the job description or job requirements is, from what I understand, actually really varies from company to company. Depends on what the company needs currently. So I think I've heard from someone that DevRel sometimes work on the technical things, and sometimes maybe DevRel also work in enhancing the technical documentation. And in my case, it is more into like leveraging like Web3 developers that I know, so we can build something great on Lisk, which means that I can host hackathons, conferences, AMAs, maybe trainings. And next year we will have Indonesian blockchain accelerator program and also incubator program, where we actually invite people who have a vision of creating their own Web3 projects. We want to like support them and give them maybe grant and funding for them to be able to run their projects.
Basically, as a DevRel, you're a sort of you do marketing, but for developer, like your
Yeah,
customer. Basically, they are developers, and yeah, as you said, depending on the company, it can be very different. Some DevRel that will do like more content. Some DevRel like you that are more into organizing events. So actually, it's interesting because it's not really something you've done before. I mean, you've done education, but it's not exactly the same thing. Now it's more like management, right?
yeah, true.
Yeah, so can you tell us what is a typical day for you?
Well, a typical day for me. So sometimes I'm analyzing like what kind of applications do we need on the List blockchain. On maybe the infrastructure side, I also analyze on what can be improved. And sometimes I like meet people, attend like offline events. There are other ambassadors who organize these events. I can become the speaker. Um, yeah, I think it really varies. I think it's more vibrant than developer only job, because developer only job, mostly you only sit at home and do the coding stuffs. While DevRel is much more flexible and more vibrant, I think.
Yeah, so it seems to me you do a lot of coordination, like meeting different people, being the bridge between different people, organizing events. I also feel like there's a lot of travel involved, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
What is the pros and cons of being a DevRel?
If you're really into like technical stuffs, maybe your skills will get maybe a little bit rusty because you're not into all in into developers side of things. That will be like maybe the con if you really passionate in the developer stuffs. But the pros is I think it's you got to meet a lot of people, you got to like maybe motivate them, like maybe give them inspiration. I can connect between projects so they can collaborate. Yeah, I think there's a lot of pros actually, especially in from my end because I have a IT background for my bachelor's degree and I also have entrepreneurship background in for my master's degree. So this way I can actually combine both skills together for this DevRel position.
And I think there is also a huge advantage that is really overlooked for DevRel is that I see this as a massive career accelerator because as a DevRel, you get like this massive exposure. So once you've done that for a few years, then you get like all this relationship.
Yeah.
And after it's much easier to do something bigger. Let's say if you want to create your own project, well, maybe it's easier to raise money or get like an even better job at another company. But the kind of exposure you have is there is no comparison if you are just a coder and just coding on your side. And yes, big advantage of the job. Now I'd like to talk a bit more about Lisk. So Lisk is the blockchain you work for. Yeah, can you introduce Lisk and how does it compare with other blockchain like Ethereum?
So Lisk actually already started their journey since 2016. I actually saw you actually review Lisk back then. I'm not sure which year was it, but I think most people know Lisk as a layer one blockchain. But actually, currently, Lisk is a layer 2 blockchain on top of Ethereum and part of the OP superchain. So similar to Base, similar to Soneum from Sony, similar to World Chain as well. And our difference, besides the gas fee, because from the data that I retrieved just now, base gas fee is like 0.12 Gwei, but list gas fee is still 0.01 Gwei, so it's like 12 times cheaper than base. And besides that, we are actually focusing our efforts in like high growth markets like Southeast Asia and Africa. So we really want to build that connection with the Web3 projects one by one. Um, Maybe have that more intimate connection and see what we can support for the projects.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're an Ethereum L2, right?
Yes, Ethereum L2.
Okay, so connected to Ethereum via the network. So you commit your transaction on Ethereum. And also technologically, it uses the EVM. So if you know how to code a smart contract with Solidity, then you can build on Lisk. It's exactly the same thing. And so very low transaction fee. And is there a specific use case for Lisk, like money transfer, something like this?
Yeah, so we want to focus on real world application, not necessarily RWA, real world asset, but we want to focus on the applications that have real world use cases, which can be anything actually, from gaming, DePIN, RWA, DeFi, DeSci, and so on.
In those two markets like Africa and Southeast Asia, like there will be a lot of demand for that. Can you give us an example of a real world application that is built on Lisk, like one of the most famous one?
Yeah, so there are actually already some application. There's Africable, which focus on providing transparent and secure food supply chain. There's also BackFi, Back.fi, which is actually a to back tokenized assets. So assets like treasury bonds, Nvidia shares, and so on. They actually tokenize it. There's also Merkle, which is a DeFi aggregator, and actually more to come because we are in touch with several Web3 projects in Indonesia. and I think they will go live starting next year.
So is there any advice for builders who want to build on Lisk, any hackathon or any program they can join to help them?
If you're still a beginner, maybe you can join EatTheBlocks Bootcamp first. If after that, you will have the solid foundation to build the Web3 projects that you want to build. And I think the advice will be just don't focus too much on the technology as well. After you get all the technical side of things, you also need to have a greater understanding of the ecosystem, and sometimes maybe know what applications are out there and what works and what doesn't, that so that you know what you want to build, and also the product that can be built as well on top of this. And as for the grant program, we are actually having a grant program, which can be actually seen in on our website, if you want. And currently, our focus is in the incubator program in Indonesia. So we will funnel most of the projects through that incubator. After 3 months of intensive like programs and so on, we will select the several projects for the grant funding.
Okay, yeah, so it's really good opportunity for builders like to join this program. All right, Jason. Well, thanks for coming here, and wish you good luck with Lisk.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Julian. To see you.